Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Practically Creative. My name's Melissa. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. We are going to be doing a jewel box quilt box today. If I could talk today, it would help. We're going to be doing a jewel box quilt block, and this is what it looks like. Make sure you get to see that up front. Let me make sure my camera decides that it's going to work for us today. I know, what a frustrating thing. I think it's me, the camera just doesn't like me. So we'll just assume that that's what's going on and go from there. Got my phone over here so that I can see Tracy. Hello. So that I can see chat today. And I've got some news for everybody. Nothing earth shattering or anything, but just news. I am working on the cotton cuts clues, and I was really intimidated by the format layout, whatever you want to call it. And I sat down yesterday afternoon, and with some help from my friend Lori at Sherlock Sews, I managed to get through them without too big of a problem. And my blocks measure what they're supposed to measure. So I'm like, yay! I'm happy about that. That actually just made me thrilled. Got my 1/4 inch seams right, got all the stuff. So, and how are you today, Miss Tracy? I see ya. Gonna have a Zoom meeting later with Miss Tracy so we can brainstorm some stuff for her. So that'll be fun. You're awesome. That's good. And I apologize upfront for any freezing on the satellite. Hubby is on a huge conference call meeting, and I'm like, ah. So they're doing crazy things, and I closed my door because they're a little loud today, and one of the guys is a little, he uses words that YouTube doesn't like. How's that? Well, hello, Shirley. How are you today? How are you? How are you? I am good here. I keep thinking about Shirley's sewing room every time I come in here and I'm looking at things and I'm moving things around. I'm like, God, Shirley is so organized. How can I get that organized? I don't think it's ever going to happen. I cleaned the room the other day, but I haven't organized it. I vacuumed and dusted and did all that stuff. I keep saying they're two different things, right? Cleaning it is a whole different thing than organizing it. You can have the surfaces clean and still not have everything put away where you want it. So, excuse me, we are experiencing a cold wave in Florida. It was 47 when I got up this morning. That's really unusual for March. And of course, right now outside it's like 80, which is hot for, it's not 100, which is what our normal temperatures are in the summer, but it's still a big difference when you're trying not to get sick. So I have news. I don't know where you got that pink hand at, Shirley, but that's cute. I have news about everybody that I track. Well, most of them. I didn't check Stephanie Quilting with Stephanie Stitch's numbers today. Colleen is at 913. She's almost to that 1,000 marker. I told her, I said, I can't wait because then I have somebody else who can help me interpret all the crazy stuff that YouTube throws at us. Sylvia is at 717, a few minutes before I went live. Yeah, it's one extreme to the other, Tracy, and the weather just is not fun when it does that. And while I'm chit-chatting, I'm going to put some lotion on my hands because they're dry. Dawn at My Quilt Projects, 797. Waiting on her to get that 800. I guess I'm going to have to make her a congratulations video too, right? And speaking of Dawn, she was talking at the last sewing bee about that Tilda free patterns, and I ordered some of the gridded interfacing. I just ordered 1 inch because I don't know that I want like a full throw sized quilt, but I definitely want to do a wall hanging. And I may end up doing a quilt size. Yeah, it would be really pretty. And then Brandy at 100 Proof Quilter is at 468, which is up 5 from what she was on Monday. So yay, Brandy. Everybody's growing, and I want to give shouts out to my peeps, to the people that, I follow very, 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 very closely. I have not played with my snap hoop yet to do the edge to edge quilting. I need to do an experiment with it. And I was down yesterday and the day before because of my hands and my shoulders. Arthur had some other plans for me besides what I was wanting to do. So I'm not happy with Arthur. And I kind of have a mental image for him. Anybody else remember Jim Carrey in Mask with the tilted hat, where his face was green, he had his hat tilted? That's kind of what I think Arthur looks like. Got to have a mental image to go with that. Hello, Lori. Is it still morning? I thought it was afternoon. I could be wrong. No, don't count me in on anything today. I was talking about you, Lori. I said that you were very helpful for me in getting those cotton cuts blocks done. I got clue 1 and clue 2. I guess clue 2 probably sat in the mailbox for a few days because I just got it yesterday. But I think it was mailed on time, everything. I think it just sat in our mailbox for like a week because, we don't check mail every day. We don't get much. Bills. Who wants to check mail for bills? So I was saying at the very beginning, it is afternoon. Okay, I'm good. That we're going to do this block today, and this is mine. And this on now I did put it in the community tab yesterday for everybody, but I'm going to tell you the measurements for this and then we'll sew it. I mean, it's not going to take us any time at all. So you need 2 colors. I'm using purple, and these are 6-inch cuts. They want 5 7/8. I cut 6-inch. I'd rather square up a little bit at the edges than try to fiddle with 5 7/8 inch squares. That's just craziness as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I was really intimidated by those blocks. I was like, oh, and then when I sat down and did them, the first one was a little bit weird because I tried to use the layout that they use for the fabrics, A, B, B, B. And the second one, when I did it, I just laid out A, B, C, in the order of the fabrics, what each one was. I didn't separate them by shape. I just separated them by what the fabric was. And then they have great pictures in the instructions to tell you what to put together. I still had to seam rip on part of it because there's some triangles that need to be a certain way, and I put 2 of them backwards. And since I'm making the blocks 2 at a time, I was making them 2 at a time, I ended up having to seam rip 2 of those units. But it wasn't bad. It didn't take long, maybe half an hour because I was a little unfamiliar with that. So it wasn't bad. I thought it was pretty easy. I've got them up here. The probably what's going to take me the longest is figuring out where to store it so I will be able to find it every month. I think I'm going to empty an iris box and put it in there because that keeps everything flat and put together. Yeah, so I'm all caught up. Are you all caught up now, Lori? I know she was working on clue 2 last night when we were talking. Okay, so back to today's block, the jewel box. 2 6-inch blocks, each of them a color. And then your background color, you need 4 3-inch blocks. And then you need to pick one of your colors from your 2 colors and do 4 3-inch blocks of that. I want you to stay on there, Iron. And this is super simple. This is really simple. I'm going to change the camera angle, show you guys how to do this. This is going to take us minutes. I mean, minutes. Yep, I told you, Lori, you had to watch those angles on that silly. Um, see my lotion I just put on. You had to watch those angles on those triangles. You have to finish half of two. Yeah. All right. So we take our 6-inch blocks. I'm just going to call them 6 inches. If you're exact and you want to cut it right, you can do the 5 7/8. I've drawn a line across the middle. I have my 1/4 inch foot on my Baby Lock Jazz. I don't know where I had put it, but I got it out last week and said, okay, let's do this. And I'm doing a scant 1/4 inch seam just because that's what I want to do. And I'm going to sew right down through here. Most of you have done this before. This is for people who are beginners and want to learn how to do this. And then I'm just going to turn it around, give myself a little slack on that. Go right back down the other side. And again, scant 1/4 inch seam. And all scant means is that at the edge of my 1/4 inch foot where it would normally ride along that line, I'm just barely letting it sit over the line so that I can just give myself a little more wiggle room on the outside edge of this. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut thread there and set that aside for just a second. And this is really, really simple. On these 3-inch blocks, you're going to put them all together just so that you're sewing one edge of them. And I'm just going to stack them up here and do this. I think this is almost as simple as the heart block was. I'm glad I picked a simple one this week. And I'm debating on whether I want to do simple or complicated next week. You guys have a thought process on that? And I'm just going to chain piece these. 1/4 inch seam right down one side. Doesn't matter which side because my fabrics are not directional. I have a solid and then a white on white. It's just swirls. I know it's hard to see those details in here because my camera's a little ways away. It seems like when I get my camera up close to my sewing machine, the two of them talk to each other and don't like each other. It did it on my Juki this morning too. So I was like, okay, what's up with this? And I'm just going to take my little blade thing and separate these four. I'll cut off that little bit of excess thread right there. Put it in my thready bag. And then I'm going to fold my fabric open. I could press this, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to finger press it. And I'm going to press it towards the darker side. And then I'm going to take my seams and I'm going to nest where the two seams meet. Right there. And then lay this out here. And I'm going to do another 1/4 inch seam. This block is so simple, it's almost criminal. But I said I was going to teach it, so we're going to teach it. So that one is sewn. I hate seam ripping. Oh, and Nightbot is on the job this morning or this afternoon. It's morning somewhere in Australia. Maybe UK is later, but it might be morning in Australia. And Now, I don't know about you guys, but have any of you seen that Colleen has been playing with Remix a lot this last week? That is the coolest thing since sliced bread, I think. And I've played with it a little bit, but not as much as she has. Trying to figure out if I can remix out of the live to pull the video for sewing this and see my little points all match there so that I can turn this into a separate video. Well, that point's not as good. All right. And then here is, let me put that over there, our little square that we sewed. I'm going to cut right on the line I drew. And when I press these, I'm just rolling it back on the purple and pushing it down. I want that seam to go towards the purple. Thank you very much. I do have my iron on, but I didn't really want to iron this yet. All right, and so the way the purple lays is it goes to the outside corners, and then you're going to turn this so that your 4 whites march up the center of the block like that. I'm hoping you can see that, yeah. Okay, and so then what we do is we take the 2 pieces here, and we're going to sew them together, 1/4 inch seam again. And there's no seam matching on this part. My beginner thread got caught there. And I pressed mine open towards the triangle because there's fewer seams to have to fight with there. Then I'm going to bring this one and sew it together. I mean, this looks so much harder than it is. It's really making that one giant HST and a couple of 4 patches and sewing them together. And I am laying everything back down flat on my table just so I keep everything in order and so you guys can see it. But so we're almost done. We have one more seam. Hello, Faith. How are you today? And then when I pick these up, I'm going to nest the 2 seams right there at the center. I'm going to do that, and then I'll match my sides up. And you've heard me say this before. I use the Jenny Doan method of doing this. I match my first intersection and sew to that. And you can pin this. If you prefer to pin, please go ahead and pin. And then making sure that my other seams all lay where I want them. And after I made the first one for this, so I could show you guys, I was like, I should have made both of them on the line because that would have probably been easier. Faith, it's good to see you today too. So this is what we're making, and I just sewed up the second one, and I'm going to give it a little bit of an iron real quick. You may not be able to see me iron, my apologies, but I'm not pushing or pulling. I'm just basically ironing flat so that I get a nice flat block. I don't know why it was purple and green this week instead of purple and pink, but there's the first block, there's the second block. And I think this would be really cool. You could do it, any way you wanted, but you could do like 4 of them and turn it and make a cute table runner with a big diamond in the center. And then those would look like you did around the world marching. You could do them, any way you wanted. You could even intersperse these with solid blocks. Like if you put a solid stripe of purple in between them or a solid block, it would look really cute. And these are, of course, going on my design wall to go with the rest of the blocks that we've been making out of the Quilt Builder card box. And that was a super fast block. What'd that take? 15, 20 minutes? Probably took me longer to talk than it did to do it. Let's switch back the camera so you can see me instead of my table. I think maybe next week we'll do something a little bit more complicated. I don't think that I'm ready for another one of those hour-and-a-half or 2-hour blocks, but I'm thinking we could probably do something a little more complicated. So Faith, how are you doing today? We were talking about cotton cuts earlier. Lori and I are both doing that. I did it because, let me pull this down here. You guys, I watched Quilting with Stephanie Stitches the other day. And one of the girls was working with this color palette. That's just not a good vision of it. Let's see if I can show you. Do you see these colors? I mean, there we go. That's a good picture of the colors. The blues and the teals, I'm just, wow. And that is, that fabric line in mine is Chroma by Northcott. And I love a good blue. I love a good teal. I was like, oh yeah. So one of the girls on Stephanie Stitches was doing that color, and I immediately went and signed up. It's like $20 a month, and I'm not pushing cotton cuts. I was just like, I love this color. And then I saw the colors that Lori's using last night, and hers are more masculine, if you will. And her colors are gorgeous too. She's got a green and a brown, and I was like, man. So I guess that's the cotton cut secret, is pick really great fabrics to do this in. And then everybody wants to do it because there's a fabric line that appeals to everybody. I saw a lavender one too that's really pretty. I don't know if my phone has decided it's not going to show me chat or if it's acting funky. There we go. And then I want to put the camera back up there. And as you can see, my design wall is still full of stuff. I did do the table runner last Monday. I put it together, but I haven't actually quilted it up yet. It is on my list of things to do. I'm not sure I finished it when we were live, but I went ahead and put in all of my sashing and all of my cornerstones. So you guys can see all of that with my little baskets, and I've got them upside down. So here's what that came out like once I got it all done. And I have me and Designs by Juju had a consultation, as in I went on their website and dug and dug and dug. Why is that acting so funny? It looks like it's not put together there. It's just me. It's fine. Okay. It's like, what did I do wrong? Anyway, so I went on Designs by Juju and I found a couple of those into edge to edge feather quilting patterns and chicken salads or chickens. And I want to try those out on a test piece before I put them on my chicken salad quilt. I think that's what's going to happen. You guys are just all quiet today, or is the chat just not coming through for me? I don't know. I don't know. Ah, don't do that. So I put my little jewel box block back in here. And then, want something that looks complicated, but maybe isn't. Ugh. And the next three are just like, I'll have to sit down and look at them and see which one. So I will post it on Wednesday for you guys on which one's going to go up there. And I'll put the cut list up whenever I do it as well, so that you guys will have all the information. And does anybody have any questions today on the quilt block that we did? Any of that? All I can figure is you do most of your quilting in the hoop. You make your own designs. Takes time, but you love the results. Do you do in the hoop on an embroidery machine, Shirley? Or do you do it like in a hoop and then use your regular sewing machine to do it? And I would be interested in how you make your own designs, because that was, when I was looking at them the other day, I was like, why am I having to buy this? Why can't I just do what I want and then put it in there? And I have embrilliance. So maybe I just need to get an embrilliance and play with it and see what it'll come up with for me. I have embrilliance and then a thumbnailer that tells me what's in each embroidery design, and another program that is supposed to help with that. But yeah, I'm thinking that it would be a whole lot easier to do edge to edge on the embroidery machine if I can do that. I have a quilt frame, a cutie quilt frame, but I prefer doing, hello Stephanie, how are you? I prefer doing FMQ. We made a party today, Stephanie. Already did it. So you'll have to see the replay to see how to do it. A FAF 4.5. I have a Baby Lock Flourish too, so it should do it. Does the FAF let you design on the machine, or do you have to do it in a separate program and then put it in? Because I'm interested in that for sure. And I do play with embrilliance. I just, between the scan and cut and embrilliance, when I do spend time playing with the electronic stuff, I'm working on some other projects, because I've got an applique quilt that I'm doing for me personally of the Sunbonnet Sue stuff. And I've been kind of designing ideas for that. So, you know, a picnic basket, Sunbonnet Sue, overall Sam, putting those, I have those patterns drawn out, and I'm putting those in there so that I can cut them out for a specific thing that I want to do. It's not a block quilt, it's more of one of those like art kind of things. So you use your embroidery machine to do most of it? Yeah, my machine connects by USB also. And I have to do it on USB drives. I can't do it like with a straight cord. The Brother Scan and Cut I can, but not the embroidery machine. Which is my biggest issue, is all the machines that I have in here, they can all connect to one another mostly. So it's hard to move the machines to other places because you're limited by the length of how long your cords are. Yeah. And Sylvia just got a wooden hoop and sat down and started playing with her machine. She makes her little domestic machine cry. She makes it embroider things and all kinds of stuff. I don't see her today. I don't think she's still feeling very well though. I miss Stephanie. What are you up to today? Are you taking a break from work? The busiest woman I know is Stephanie Stitches, guys. 4 kids, she homeschools, she runs a business, a couple of businesses, her Etsy shop, long arm quilting business. I'm just like, you go girl. And writes patterns, easy to read patterns. My shamrock is on the table in the dining room, which finally got cleaned off this last weekend. Yay! And if I had been thinking, I would have waited and used the shamrock as my test piece because I do have shamrocks already in my embroidery program, and I could have embroidered shamrocks all over my table runner. Oh, that's cool, Shirley. You can connect to your machine directly by cable. That's awesome. I don't know how to do all that. I just know how to use my USB. Oh, when is your retreat? Is it at the end of this month? Like next weekend or something? And that's Williamsburg, right? I for sure. So I always have to ask. I'm not trying to put her someplace she's not going to be. Or Millersburg. Millersburg. Yeah. I heard everybody talking about it. And I was just showing, I finally figured out my cotton cuts clues, Stephanie. I got 1 and 2 put together, so I'm ready when 3 comes around. I felt pretty accomplished yesterday when I got that figured out. It is just as easy as they make it look on there. But it did take a little bit of time for me to figure out on the first one. I'm a picture person. I definitely am a picture person. Millersburg, yeah. I wasn't sure. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Williamsburg, except that when I was growing up in West Virginia, we lived near a place called Williamsburg. We also lived near Parkersburg, blah, blah, blah. So I'm quite certain most of those places were named after somebody's last name. March 31st. So yeah, coming right up. What, less than 2 weeks away? That's awesome. 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 And passed, I know you were at 12.5 the last time I looked at your number. Have you passed 13 yet? And she's just growing like a weed over there, just like her kids. I'm happy for everybody. I was given stats on my little crew. Colleen's at 9:13 and Sylvia's at 7:17 today. So yeah, doing really well. I'm impressed. Yes, panic time. I understand that completely. No, you haven't passed 13 yet. You will soon. You will soon, I'm sure. Yep, Shirley and her pink hands over there. I just have gray hands. Probably should have put them on already. Let me put them on now while I'm thinking about it. Um, I use these as my machine gloves whenever I quilt, but they're compression gloves specifically for arthritis. And I saw some when I ordered these, and I probably should have checked them out. Yeah, we're all growing, Stephanie, or trying to. They have some that have copper in them. Has anybody ever used copper for arthritis? Does it help? I take a lot of turn. I'm willing to try natural stuff, but I'm kind of like, I don't want to take copper. I don't know if that's good for you. I keep seeing those copper gloves pop up, and I'm like, maybe I should try a pair. And these are great. I mean, like when you're doing laundry and stuff and your hands are hurting, these help. They're great for machining. Even if you don't have arthritis, these have little, yeah, you can see them, little black, I don't know if they're silicone or plastic, but little nubs on the hands that helps you grip on things. Makes it easier for me to pick that up. Yes, we're all growing. We're all working hard. That's the reason we're growing, I think. So I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah, I'm really happy for everybody, you know? It's like everybody's out there working hard and you see it, and then you see their numbers grow, and you're just like, yeah. Yvonne, I'm at 234. You wear the copper gloves? You don't know if it helps much, but you wear them anyway. Okay. Um, so you haven't seen any significant difference from wearing them? Because if you do, I'd definitely be interested. Um, I don't know if these I have them on subscribe and save on Amazon. They just say compression gloves. They don't have a brand name on them. But whenever I pop them up, whenever I look on Amazon for compression gloves, these are the first ones that come up. These are either $9 or $10 a pair. And when I put them on subscribe and save, it brought them down to like $8.98. So yeah, they're not expensive. I think it starts with a Y, just like your first name. Might be Yasin gloves, Yasin. Yeah. Are you in the same time zone as me, Yvonne? And welcome to chat. I don't recognize the name, but that doesn't mean anything. My brain doesn't work on some days. You've probably been here before and I just forgot. I'm sorry. But yeah, these are pretty helpful. These aren't super tight. They're just enough so that I know I'm wearing them, but not so much that I feel like I've been pinched. Yeah. I mean, I can look the link up on Amazon and put it in the description box after. I don't know. I'm afraid to mess with anything on the computer setup today because it took me a little bit to get it all working properly. But yeah, the copper gloves, if they work for you, that's great. I keep looking at them and I keep thinking maybe, but I don't want to spend, they're like $40 or something, the ones I saw. But I don't want to spend a bunch of money on them if they're not going to help. And then I worry about the magnetic ones because I usually sew with my gloves on. Yeah, the fingertips are already cut off. They look like they serged the ends of it. So these are made for you to be able to do like all your regular daily stuff, be able to eat and drink. I know a couple of people who use garden gloves that have these same little silicone beads in them. Colleen uses hers and she cuts the ends of the fingers off so she can like grab the sewing machine thread and stuff. Tracy was cross stitching and listening. I was looking at her cross stitch the other day. She is killing it. Yeah, yeah, the fingertips are already cut off. It makes it a whole lot easier. Yep. Well, if you say they work, I'll definitely check them out. But like I said, I'm a little leery of the magnetic ones just because I don't think any of my regular machines, like my Baby Lock and my Juki, don't have computerized brains. But if I'm working on the embroidery machine, it does. And I worry about the magnets messing with that. Yep. So any other questions from anybody about the block or about any of the blocks that we've done over the last couple of weeks? Oh, thank you very much, Yvonne. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll put the link in the description box for these after the live. I have to make myself a note while I'm thinking about it. Add the link for the gloves. I have mine on subscribe and save because it makes it so much cheaper. But you can push a subscribe and save back. The only reason I ordered this pair is because I lost my other one and I haven't found them. Usually when you order a new one, you find the old one kind of thing, but I haven't found the old ones. I don't know what I did with them. I must have put them, like, we started packing because we were going to move and we've decided, I guess, not to do that or to put it off for a little while anyway. But I think maybe I packed them up into a box like a dingbat. And so I'm working on unpacking those boxes. I definitely appreciate the compliment, Yvonne. Thank you, thank you. Um, and I'm behind on Sylvia's blocks, the FPPs. I wish I had finished blocks to show you. I don't. I'm still working my brain around those, trying to figure them out. Takes me a minute with stuff that has to be reversed. So I'm still working on that one. I almost filmed a video for you guys the other day because I was sitting there trying to rethread my Juki, and I just tie on and thread and pull it through. But I was sitting there trying to tie the knot, and I could not remember how to tie a knot. You guys ever have days like that where you just sit there and you go, I do this all the time. Why can't I do this? So I was sitting there and I'm trying to tie this knot. I'm trying to tie this knot. I'm like, this makes no sense to me. Finally, I had my husband come out and tie the little knot for me. I was like, oh, yeah, that's how you do that. But I'm looking at it while I was doing it, and I was just like, could not tie that knot to save my life. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, you're very welcome, Yvonne. Nightbot, you're supposed to work when I do that. And and my Nightbot's all messed up. You laughing, right? You know you do it too. And it would have been different if it was just, I couldn't get my fingers to manipulate to do it. I could not remember how to do it. And I felt like such a dingbat. I'm sitting there going, I did find my husband got it done for me, and I can do it. It was just that day was just not happening. Just not happening for me. So I was like, yeah, one of those days. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if there's any lurking, I'm gonna. You've done it. Yeah. You just sit there and go, I know how to do this. It's kind of like threading a needle, you try and get that little needle and thread through there. I'm allergic to hand sewing. I'm stealing that line from Stephanie over there. Um, Dawn at my place was like, oh, I got a hand sewing challenge. I was like, I'm allergic to that, darling. I can't do that. I can't do that at all. But so I have sewn my block, and I've done all the chitter chatter I can think of for you guys. If I can answer any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I am going to say goodbye, which is my mod's 2-minute warning to get all the links in if they haven't already. Yeah, me and hand sewing just don't get it. And Stephanie, I threatened, and I may still look for one, but I don't want a great big poster. Jim Carrey in The Mask, the green face guy, where he's got the hat kind of tilted to one side. That's what Arthur looks like to me. And I swear, I'm thinking I need to get a picture of him somewhere and label him Arthur, because then at least I have a face to put on the person who controls so much of what I can and can't do. Bless your heart. That's what I was saying the other day about the person that Dawn gave that gorgeous dragon scale baby blanket to. Bless his little pea picking heart. I got more comments about that. Yep, and I think Brandy and Lori at Quilting in the Country. And I have to figure out what my bot's doing with Shirley, because I'm like, why did you not put Shirley up there for me? Let's see if I can do it real quick. Around to 3712. There you go, Shirley. That put in there. There we go. I got everybody up there now. Oh, and now you're going to act up again, you silly camera. Stop it. I moved my body wrong, I guess. All right, so we got everybody in there. I'm going to ask you guys to remember to be kind to one another. Like Colleen says, be the light. Sylvia says, be kind to everybody, not because they're nice, but because you are. And I say, if anybody's looking at your sewing that clothes, tell them to go home. I'm going to say bye for now, and I will see you guys Monday night. Have a great weekend.